guys, how's everybody doing? I just want to make a quick video about a trip that I took in November of last year to Rome, Italy. Basically, I got an email from Scott Cheap Flights of a flight deal to Rome. It was $498 and usually in November it's double that price. For those of you who don't know, Scotch Cheap Flights is a newsletter that you subscribe to and it just finds highly discounted flights for you to wherever. I always use Airbnb for my lodging and trips, and while on their site I decided to check their Airbnb experiences. So I booked two experiences in Rome. One was called Twilight Local Food and Hidden Places, and the other was pasta making in the Pantheon, which is a little misleading, but it was okay because it was cool. It started around dusk when there are masses of birds around the Tiber River and they were just flying from tree to tree, and it really added to the charming quality of Rome. I was actually surprised that I didn't get pooped on because there's so many birds. So we started off this food tour with some white wine and we met the family that owned a restaurant for 8 generations in the neighborhood. What was really interesting about this tour was that it wasn't only a food tour, it was also an architecture tour. She took us over the Tiber River and showed us how the foundations of some houses were really high because the Tiber River used to flood before irrigation. I'm a nerd for this stuff, so I was living. We also saw that some houses had columns and the house was completely open to the outside, but now they were filled in with bricks. It was like literally watching history happen. After that, she convinced a guard to show us a tour of a closing museum so she could give us a little bit history about the courtyard. She told us that most of the important buildings are lit at night so that people can see the artwork on the ceilings inside. So after she gave us a tour of the courtyard, we went to a mom and pop cheese and wine shop, which is arguably my favorite part of the tour. It wasn't anything special, she just laid out a couple of cheese and wines and meats for us to taste and gave us a history of each and how they were made. But I think the best part was being able to connect with the owners of the shop. I felt that they were more comfortable on their own there instead of just us tourists impeding on their space when we come in out of nowhere. We were all able to have a good laugh and to connect, and that's what I love to do when I travel. So our next experience was pasta making in the Pantheon, which wasn't actually making pasta in the Pantheon, but we met in the fountain right across from it. Turns out our host Alessandro lives about half a block away from the Pantheon, and that's where we made the pasta in his apartment. This time we were unlucky enough to have it only be the host and us, so we all got into this really small elevator, the 7 of us, and took it all the way up to the top floor where his apartment was. It turns out that Alessandro is an olive oil sommelier, which I didn't even know existed, and he had been a personal chef and a chef at a Michelin restaurant for many years. After drinking some wine and talking and getting to know each other, we all started making pasta. We made 3 dishes and made homemade pasta for each of the dishes. It was pasta with red sauce, ravioli with spinach and ricotta cheese filling, and a carbonara. After that, we actually got a bonus tasting of some tiramisu that he made because his birthday was the day before. I've never tasted a more perfectly balanced and delicious tiramisu in my life. It wasn't too sweet and it wasn't too overpowering with the alcohol, and I loved it. He was even kind enough to make us coffee, even though it was 8 p.m. and we probably didn't need it, and all we were going to do is walk home to our Airbnb. All in all, if you don't mind the price point, I would definitely recommend you check out some Airbnb experiences. Both of the experiences that I have were amazing, and I would do it again and do it with friends again if I had the chance. I'll link the experiences down below, and hopefully we'll all get a chance to experience them soon.